This week, we're finishing The Cruel Prince by Holly Black, otherwise known as The Red Wedding.
Hi, readers. I'm Jordan.
And I'm Katie.
And welcome to Not Another Heroine, the book pod where we celebrate the heroines we love
and roast the ones we don't. We'll be your TBR FGMs.
Fairy godmothers.
And find you the best 5-star reads, the spiciest romance, and save you from the overhyped DNFs.
So grab your favorite drink and get cozy. Welcome to Season 3.
Acid trip gets more acidy is basically this whole part.
And this is where the whole plot kind of wraps up. Like if you wanted a little bow tie on everything that has been building, this is the part for you.
Yeah. They show up at the coronation. Everything is going well. Dane is naked for some reason.
It's weird. Fairies are weird.
Yup, yeah. And all of the different courts are there and everything is going well. We get this cool like Kung Fu Panda where the old king turns into a bunch of moths and then like floats away.
Part of the coronation process is that members of the family have to do things like give them a scepter or put a cloak on them or give them a crown. Very significant there. And just as the crown is about to be placed on Dane's head, because the crown has to be placed by a member of his bloodline. So any of his siblings can do it, like the king could do it. And it doesn't happen because someone gets shot.
Oopsie.
And immediately Judah's kind of thrown for a loop. Like, wait, what the fuck is going on here? There's a traitor. And she's looking for Madoc because he's the general he's supposed to be protecting. And then she starts noticing that there's a ton of like sword-wielding commanders in the room and
that she knows are Madoc's people.
And it's starting to get really weird.
And then she noticed that her family is being escorted out of a side door. And then what precedes is the murder of the entire royal family.
Everybody. Yep. Every time someone picks up the crown to put it on Dane's head,
yeeted.
Completely dead.
Yep.
And then we see Belkin.
Yeah. Yep. And he goes up and he is, you know what? You're going to make me king, Dad. I am the most like deserving of this thing. And the king is like, I will not.
You are completely undeserving, which is why I picked your brother. So how about not?
Yep. Yeah. And then I think this is when he turns into moths, maybe.
Does he die? Like someone shoots him or something?
I thought he just like, ha, and then like,
it's kind of a blur of blood,
honestly,
in this whole section. But kind of how it all shakes out is there's chaos. No one can get this crown onto Belkin's head. But they start looking around for Prince Cardan because he's the last surviving member of the royal family. He's the only one who can do it and for it to stick, because the whole premise of the court system is that these lords of the other lower courts will not swear fealty to a person. They swear fealty to the crown when it's resting on a person. And so until that happens, they're like, I guess we're out. So let us know when you get your shit figured out. We'll come back and we'll sort this all out.
Yep.
So people start like disappearing and she's like, well, we need to find Cardan because he can fix this. He can, doesn't Dane, Dane dies.
Yeah. And so she's kind of like bereft because she's like, that was my chance to like, you know, be somebody. And then kind of during all of these events, I think, is when she kind of comes to the understanding, because the golden acorn that she found was basically like, it had a voice in it. And it's like, you need to protect him. This is like, I've sent out a bunch of golden acorns to hopefully get to you. Like, you have to do whatever you can. I'm about to die. Like, protect him. And she's like, who the fuck is this talking about? And she realizes that this is a kind of like convoluted part a little bit. Like, it makes perfect sense, but like, I could not retell it.
Okay. So chaos in the throne room. She tries to escape and she's crawling under a table and people are wearing masks and everything. And she runs into Cardan, who's like drunk off his ass, and he's hiding under a table. And she's like, what are you doing down here, man? Like,
it's like the Spider-Man like pointing memes, like, wait, what?
And he's like, hey guys, what's going on? And so she sneaks him out of the throne room because everyone's looking for him. And then she takes him hostage and takes him down to the tunnels and like this Court of Shadows spy area. And she ties him to a chair and she's like, I don't know what I'm doing with him yet, but I know he's valuable, so I can barter him for something. And Carter's just like having the time of his life, like, oh,
Yo.
this hot girl tied me up. Hell yeah.
He would love being tied up. Like, that is like a canon kink.
They have this great one-on-one conversation where she's interrogating him and she's like, why do you hate me so much? And then he lists a bunch of reasons. And then he's like, I hate that I like you and I can't stop thinking about you. And you're like, oh, finally, like 20 pages left in the book. We get the glimmer.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep. And then I think there's even something else. Like, he doesn't say anything instead of like admitting that he likes her because he can't tell a lie. So it's like, I'm just going to lie by omission. And she's like, that's suspicious.
And then they kiss.
Oh, they do have like kind of like a hot makeout.
She kisses him and then he kind of like, as much as he can, like,
yeah. He's like, I'm kind of into this.
I'm tied up, but I can make this worthwhile.
I know my whole family died, but like, this is kind of a vibe.
Yeah. And then she starts enjoying. She's like, wait, why do I like this? And so she kind of throws herself off. And she's like, I need to figure my shit out. I don't know what's going on. My boss is dead. Everyone's dead. My family is involved because she realizes that Madoc was part of the effort to
the coup.
And so she's like, I got to talk to people. I need to know what's going on.
And then I think this is when we get sort of the backstory, because like the ghost was feeling guilty because like one of the worst things he's ever had to do as like a spy was kill a woman and her young child. And this person was the consort of Prince Dane, I'm pretty sure. They allegedly like died in a fire, but like the ghost had actually like killed them. Carden reveals that the child that got killed was Eldridge's consort. So the kid was actually like in line for the throne, I think is basically what it is. But they eventually figure out that the kid survived, and that's the like, he needs to be protected from the little golden acorn, is whoever this kid is. And then I'm pretty sure Jude figures this out when she's like walking back to her house, because she's like, I have a captive. Madoc can maybe like pay me. Like, let me go see what kind of deal I can strike. And she's like, wait a second. Him and Oriana got together and they immediately had a baby. What are the odds?
Shady.
This is kind of sus to me.
Well, and then in the background, we also found out just before the coronation that Locke and Taryn were engaged the whole time. And then that's foreshadowed a little bit at the party. Locke, the forest party, the almost orgy.
Yeah. He casual.
He tells, or he asks Jude to say like, hey, like, what would you do if you loved me? Like, would you give me up?
Yeah.
And she's like, no.
That's a weird thing to ask.
Because she's like, I don't really like you like that yet.
Yeah, because then when she gets back to the house to talk to Madoc, he's talking to Locke. And she's like, Taryn, you fucking bitch, we're gonna fight. And they pull out swords and fight each other in the middle.
I forgot about that part. Yeah, so even before the coronation, so Locke, it comes out to be revealed that Locke has just been playing with Jude the entire time. He was secretly engaged to Taryn, and she couldn't say anything about it because it was a demonstration of her faith in Locke to watch him court her sister and say nothing. And in exchange, they would get married.
Yeah. And Jude is like, you fucking bitch.
And she pulls out her sword, and Taryn is not a swordswoman at all.
Yeah. But she has been trained. And so I feel like Jude was like surprised that it was like harder than she thought it was going to be. But the horribly traumatizing part is like Jude goes in for like a fucking like banger of a, hit. And Vivienne watches and she's like, stop. And Taryn is, still susceptible to the demands of the Fae, and she drops her sword and stops, but Jude is not. And so she has to throw her sword at the last second to avoid beheading her sister.
Yeah, traumatic.
Yeah. Yep.
So that's pre-trauma. And then you have real trauma at the coronation scene.
And then we get
post-trauma.
Yeah.
Where Jude puts all the pieces together. And this is the reveal that you've been waiting for the entire book, which is
that Oak is not Madoc's son. Is that the reveal?
That is we're on the same page. That is the right reveal. He is the child of Dane And the former kings... So basically, Dane had a relationship with his stepmom.
Ew, yeah.
And got her pregnant. And because he did not want another competitor to the throne, he killed her and thought he killed her child.
Yeah.
And that woman was best friends with Oriana.
Yeah.
Because Oriana was also like a consort to the king because he had like a harem. And so she, for her friend, saved the kid and raised him as...
Super traumatizingly, because she had to like cut out the baby from her like...
From her dead friend.
Having given birth, I cannot fucking imagine the like... Because Oriana is also described as this like very like dainty, like lofty...
Pristine.
Yeah, and she had to like cut out a baby from her dead friend's tummy. But absolutely not. Oh, wow. Wow. She's like the real...
She's the real... Oriana is kind of underestimated in this first book until you get to this point, and she just grows as a character. She's really intriguing. And so Jude puts all those pieces together. She realizes, oh shit, Madoc is doing this to get Oak the throne, and Madoc wants to be regent while Oak is growing up. And it's interesting that Jude looks at her stepfather because she loves her stepfather, but she realizes that, oh, he's a redcap. He's going to put all of the fairy courts at war. It's going to be absolute bloodshed for decades if he becomes regent. And so she has to find this plan to not let that happen. And so she's like, well, if we need to save Oak first. And I thought that was super admirable for her as a character. It's like, let's let him have a childhood, grow up normal, grow up in the human realm. And so she convinces her sister, Vivian, and not Taryn, right? Taryn's staying.
Yeah, I think it's Jude only talks to Vivi because Taryn had the whole like, I love Locke moment. She's like, I don't trust you, bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so she recruits Vivi into her crazy plan.
And you don't even know the whole details.
You don't know the plan.
Yeah. Which is amazing.
Yeah. It's again another moment where you're like equally as bamboozled as like the characters figure out like what the fuck is going on. You're like, they're gonna what? God. So the next scene I think is like, is this when Jude goes to all of the courts and she tries to convince them like, hey, if I make a play, will you like back me during this?
That's exactly what she does. So she goes to visit Lord Royben. That's where we get this little like...
They're eating Chinese food.
It's so cute. That's what I mean. Like Reed Tide, it's a great standalone.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, Lord Royben's like, I'll consider it. Nice attempt. And so she's like, well, that's, almost somebody on my side.
Yeah. Oh, important for the next book and the third book, he says he will do it in exchange for a unspoken future promise that if he asks, they have to fulfill it. She doesn't know what it is, but that is the cost.
And she works out a deal with Cardan because she explains to Cardan that he is going to they're going to crown Oak because they want to avoid Balkan. So Jude is playing everyone a little bit, and then she goes to Balkan. She's like, hey, I got Cardan. I got you. Like, we'll set this all up. He can crown you. We'll get the whole thing set up. And then I forget the intricacies of the deal, but Cardan agrees to obey Jude for a year and a day.
Yeah.
And it's in exchange for her, like negotiating for his freedom, I think.
She will ensure that when Oak is king, that Cardan can fuck off and have whatever house he wants, can just like party, have money, be like landed gentry, like is his exchange. Because he doesn't want to be involved in the court drama. He just wants to like drink and be crazy.
He's very anti like leadership, anti-king. He just wants to be done. And so, but he's compelled to like obey her for a year and a day. And this is such a great demonstration of Jude being like outsmarting her opponents, which she couldn't do in the beginning of the book. She had to learn that by trial and error. And then we get to the ultimate scene where it's like the recoronation where she's set this meeting up with Balkan to have Cardan come in, and Balkan's like, hey, little bro, like, I got you. We have this cute scene where like there's an attempted assassination of Cardan, and like Balkan protects him, but only because he's got to get Cardan to put the crown on him. And so everyone's there, like Madoc's there, Oak is there with Vivian, and they orchestrate Oak carrying the crown. And Vivian and Jude are like, hey, buddy, like just like we practiced at home. And then Jude turns to Cardan and says, hey, can you show him how to do this? Can you kneel down? And so because he agreed to a year and a day of like servitude, apparently. He kneels down and Balekin's watching everything. And then Oak, 7-year-old Oak.
Because Jude tells him to not move for 1 minute.
Oh, I forgot about that part.
Because it's the like, oh, she's making a power play right now.
And then he's frozen on his knees. And then like cute little Oak with his crown puts the crown on Cardan. And Cardan becomes king.
He's big mad immediately.
So pissed off.
He's like, I didn't fucking want this, because I think he like immediately like turns around to Jude and he's like, I'm gonna make you fucking regret this. Yeah. Like, I am king now. Like, expect to be at my side every moment of every day, and you're gonna have to do all of the work, and I'm gonna make your life actively harder because I'm gonna fuck around on this throne, and you're gonna have to fix everything. Good luck.
And everyone else is pissed because Balekin is murdered, right? And then Madoc is pissed because he's like, I was gonna do this.
I had a plan.
What the fuck, man?
Fucked it up. Yeah, because Jude realized that the only way to really like preserve the kingdom and like not have it be crazy for Oak to eventually ascend to the throne was if somebody else was sitting on it.
Yep.
Not Madoc, Cardan.
And then she tells like Cardan like kind of nicely like, hey, it's only going to be like 7 years. 7 years you could be king. And he is not having
He's like,
that.
absolutely not. It's going to be a year and a day. So figure your shit out, like, bro.
Well, and then Vivian takes Oak with Oriana's help. They manage to like sneak Oak out into the human world and hide him there. And that leaves Jude behind. Yeah. And she gets a cute little nickname.
Does she?
The Court of Shadows. Like reconvenes. And they're like, well, that was a lot. Yeah. We're going to call you the Queen.
God. Because like what a character arc. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So satisfying. She like starts out wanting to be something and she's like, you know what? Fuck it. I want to be a bad bitch and I'm going to be a bad bitch.
Well, and how many character arcs like heroine arcs where we get the character is moving to be the second behind, like the power behind the throne rather than the throne itself. We get so many princess stories. There's so many savior stories of like, oh, they can save the whole kingdom with this power. But Jude is always moving the people around her to save the kingdom, not necessarily moving herself.
Yeah. I feel like Jude and Kestrel are like two sides of the same coin.
Yes.
Like Kestrel feels bad about the things that she's doing, but like Jude is like, I'm doing this for a reason and like I'm going to get what I'm owed. They're like very like similar.
That is an interesting take, but they are very similar.
Yeah. Because they're both like manipulating the people around them, like making these power plays, like trying to like achieve a certain outcome and like are willing to like do bad things for it. But like Kestrel feels bad, but like Jude doesn't.
Wow.
It's interesting because we loved the Winter's Curse and we also love this. We have a type.
Apparently so. We need a gritty heroine who makes the tough decisions.
Did Rob's wife, why did that sound like, no, Rob's partner, there we go.
Okay.
Have any hot takes? I feel like she had something crazy.
Yes, she did. I'm looking at my notes right now because I did, readers, I invited her onto the pod, but she is a little reserved and she did not want to be recorded, which I get because I remember the first time we recorded, we're like, oh my God, I don't want to listen to our own voice.
I feel like even Rob was a little bit like, whoa, this is like pretty serious.
I think there's a learning curve of like being okay putting everything out there onto the big wide internet.
Yeah. Which is funny because he immediately, like, following that kind of nervousness, said ejaculation on the podcast. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it didn't last very long.
Nope.
Okay, so here is Rob's partner's hot take regarding Cardan and Locke. And she says, I don't know that I like Cardan, and I feel like Locke was a better love interest for Jude.
Wow. That's so I get it because I think we have read so much romantasy that we're kind of like inoculated against the like good guy like trope where it's like, oh, like I love you and like, oh my gosh, we're gonna like spend time together, but you're gonna be like my secret girlfriend. Like I feel like we've been kind of like inoculated against that and we want the like very questionably.
Okay, it's kind of like, have you read Akatar? Then you know this trope.
Yeah.
Right? Like you know the setup now. So there is that. That's the thing is she hasn't read ACOTAR.
Wow, yeah. She's going to love Tamlin, and she's going to be bamboozled. Oh, my God. I'm so excited for her. Oh, my God. I didn't even think about that. Because it is very, like, Tamlin Raisin, like, coded.
It's light, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But that is kind of the basis for that. Okay, let's mislead the readers. Like, unless you have that baseline reading level of having experienced that trope before, you can't see around every single corner. So you just see shallow Carden, like being a dick to her. And then you see Locke being like, hey, I'm still morally great, but I'm hot. It's fine.
Wow, yeah. Because it's like, you really wouldn't know all of those moments between Jude and Carden are like, what is happening? Unless you have read the eyes darken and he like intervenes and he's like, no, like she's not worth it to like, you know, beat up or whatever. We'll just like leave her there. It's like, that's a weird thing to say.
Yeah.
Wow.
And my girl, you know what she did? She ordered a hard copy of Reign and Ruin.
Wow.
Because I put it on she doesn't do Kindle reading, and I put it on my list of like, you need to read these books along with Master of Crows.
Oh,
but I walked into her place and she designs beautiful bookmarks. She's got like a cricket and like a jewelry design machine and these bookmarks that she's like full into bookland.
She's like, this is my thing now.
Yeah. But yeah, so she had a copy of Reign and Ruin. And I'm like, you need to, that's like a $70 bottle of wine that you need to wait.
Oh, yeah.
Until you can fully appreciate it.
Because she needs to get through all of the bangers and then like have kind of the lull of like, these aren't like quite as good. And then have Reign and Ruin just like fuck up your life.
Yeah.
I would pay so much money to be able to like read those books again for the first time. Like, can you imagine reading Master of Crows? Oh my God.
I don't need to. I'm going to reread it again. I'm going to pretend like it's the first time.
I was about to say, I feel like it's about that time of year when it's like, it's been a while since I've read Master of Crows. I'm going to read it again.
I'm going to read Bride again. That's on my list. And then Master of Crows.
Yeah. Because I still think, so Master of Crows, the scene where she has been vigorously shagged into the carpet and has like the rug burn on her back, that's like seared into my memory. And then Bride when she's being scented. And then the feeding scene too, like sends me into the fucking stratosphere.
The scene from Master of Crows that lives rent-free in my brain is the picnic table scene where he stabs the dude.
Yeah.
And I don't, that's a really toxic thing to like focus on, but like,
that's fair.
It's so romantic.
It honestly. Oh, God.
Yeah, there's so many hand scenes.
Yeah. Oh, I watched the BBC Pride and Prejudice.
Oh, my God. Readers, Katie had never seen it. The original,
it is so fucking good. I watched it twice back to back. I watched the whole thing and then
almost like I told you to fucking watch it.
I know. I finally did it. Thank you, Jordan. But there wasn't a hand scene in it. I was geared up. I was fucking ready. She was getting into the carriage and I'm like, here it comes. And then it didn't happen. I was like, that was kind of bummy. But everything else about it was just Gucci. God, delicious.
I have the next level for you.
What?
I need to watch the BBC version again.
Okay.
But every time I see a new Pride and Prejudice, I feel like it tops the other one. So the one I'm listening to right now, it's the first time I've listened to it. I've listened to, so it's Audible original, but it's a condensed, abridged version of Pride and Prejudice with voice actors. So there's music in the background. There's different actors doing like acting style dialogue, and you still get a narrator. So it is an audiobook, but it's crunched down. So it's not, 56 hours long. It's like 20.
Oh, okay.
It is so good. It reminds me, listening to it is like having the BBC version on in the background.
Oh.
But it's so much better because there are things that are done in the movie and TV versions that don't do justice to Elizabeth as a character, because I feel like she can be a divisive character.
Yeah.
She's not entirely likable, but you get inside her head in the Audible book version, and it is so good. Like, it's hard because I'm reading like 3 books right now and listening to that one, and I don't know which one to shift into.
That's fair. Yeah.
Please read that one next.
Okay. That's fair. I have been sold because of how good the BBC, like, it was so good. Because there's bits of the movie, like, they're very similar, but it's like the TV series is kind of like drawn out more. But there's things that make more sense in the TV show that are kind of like glossed over, and you're like, why did that really happen? And then you watch the TV show and you're like, oh shit, that's why. And then like, I feel like the romance is a little bit more like organic in that, where you like, she really fucking hates him. And then it's like, oh, I guess he's like not really that bad, but I'm still kind of mad. It's like, oh, He's like kind of a good guy.
I'm gonna watch that tonight.
Oh my god, it's so good.
Okay.
Woo! That's not related to the Crow Prince.
No, not at all.
I don't even think they're really similar vibes, really, either.
Elizabeth has got similar character tendencies that Jude has.
I can see that.
More independent.
Yeah.
Willing to, like, fight even when she's wrong.
Yeah. That is kind of true. They're all very, like, The Cruel Prince, Pride and Prejudice, and The Winter's Curse. Half a Soul, only because of, like, how weird the Fae are.
Mm-hmm.
Like, those are all kind of very, like, similar, like, vibey. Yeah. I would say I would read The Cruel Prince, like, early fall. I think that's, like, primo.
This is not a spring book.
No.
Which we kind of didn't gauge our timing quite right.
Yeah.
But
I feel like it's still, it's like an anytime book. Maybe like a deep summer book where it's like hazy out and like you could be in Feyland and you're like, did I drink too many mimosas? Or
there is a beauty to being in the heat of summer, sitting outside, enjoying the sun with a glass of insert the beverage of your choice.
Yeah.
Preferably alcoholic.
Yeah.
And reading a book, and you're in that slightly tipsy, like, oh, I'm just enjoying life, and I'm getting my vitamin D, and my eyes are absorbing absolute gold.
Yes, yeah. And there's like bumblebees like buzzing around, and it's like kind of loud almost, but it's like hazy. God, vibe.
That's where we're at.
I can't wait for that. But I also am not like a sun girly.
No.
I sunburn quite easily.
Okay, so we are covering the second book in this series next. Mm-hmm. That is The Wicked King. And now you know who that is.
He sure is wicked. God, I'm so excited. This is a good series.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
And then check out Meet Me in Dreamland.
Oh my God, I forgot about this. If you are a patron of ours on Patreon, we do this thing called Tawdry Tuesday, where we talk about the more explicit side of our reading journeys. And so if you would like to come with us, the next book is a fan fiction called Meet Me in Dreamland. And I am horrified that I'm asking Jordan to read this. And I'm horrified that the entire world is going to know that I read this. But boy, is it
dreamy.
Smutty.
It's dreamy.
Yeah, it's dreamy. Sure. Kind of dream. But yeah, so if you would like to hear Jordan be absolutely fucking scandalized in podcast format.
Nothing can scandalize me now that I have read A Sensual Summoning.
I'm glad that was recorded. We are going to cut that in when you read some of those chapters and you're going to be like, know what? I was a better person before I read this.
All right, so that's out there, readers.
Yep.
From our shelf to yours.
We'll see you on the next page. Hi, readers. Like what you've been hearing? Check out the Spice Archive at notanotherheroine.com to see all of our reviews and ratings. And if you'd like to support our growing library, find us on Patreon and get access to exclusive bonus content.
If you'd like to just listen, we post new episodes every Monday and Wednesday on Spotify, Apple, and Amazon. Thanks for listening.